guys, welcome back to Womanverse Travels. I am here in Puerto Natales, Chile, at the door to Torres del Paine National Park. I leave tomorrow to a Explorer Lounge, and I'm so excited to be here, not only because it's one of my top places I've been wanting to visit for so many years. It's been on my bucket list, but also because I have had to relearn how to walk, and I'm not doing the full W trek. I will have a guide that will tell me what I can do that matches my ability level, but it's just the fact that I get to experience this after literally being hospital ridden and in a cane and doing physical therapy 4 times a week. So all of this to say, thank you for coming back to my video. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, hello. My name is Womanverse Travels. I'm an international school teacher, and I'm so excited to share some of my travel tips with you. I have been to over 27 countries, and this is my mini-series that I'm beginning as of today on everything you need to know before boarding that flight. So, first is before you ever come to the airport. Okay, so I have my list of notes here, so I'm just going to be reading them out loud. I just wanted a cute little backdrop with me. So first of all, there are domestic flights, which are national flights. You do not leave the country. And then there are international flights. If you have an international flight, be mindful of how early you get to the airport. Some people say that you need to be there 2 to 3 hours in advance, and I think that's very true, especially if you live in a very, very large city. But that does not include transport time. So getting there 2 to 3 hours ahead is just for migration, customs, security, checking in your bag. Then you need to add that hour or so of transportation to the airport on top of that. So what people don't realize at times is how big of a travel day it can be when you fly, either if it's for an hour or an international flight that is 5+. So if this is a domestic flight, you do not have to arrive 3 hours early. That's going to be too long for you, but I do recommend at least an hour and a half to 2. For me personally, I always arrive at least 2 hours in advance from my flight, whether it's domestic or international, unless you're living in a place with a really small security checkpoint. Going back to international flights. So I am lactose intolerant. If you have viewed my channel in the past, you know that I have some videos on being vegan or being lactose free, being dairy free in Lima, which is where I currently live. But something to consider is anyone with a dietary or religious restriction, you might want to ensure that when you are purchasing your ticket, that is where you are putting your special accommodations or needs in. Sometimes airlines will not be understanding or will not change things for you once you get to the airport or during your flight. Those are things that they need to know and prep in advance. So just be mindful of that. The other accommodations that you would want to let the airline know during your purchasing of the ticket is also people that are pregnant or have mobility and accessibility issues. So for both of those last 2 categories, you will enter that into your ticket. You will select what kind of accommodation that you need. So for example, if you are pregnant or elderly or like me, where I had to relearn how to walk, they will provide you with a wheelchair, and they can meet you at the doors of the airport or at check-in, and someone will take you from check-in to security to the rest of the process. Even if you have a connecting flight, they will arrange all of that for you, again, as long as you make sure you put that when you are purchasing your ticket. For me, this was actually a really smooth process. I had to take an emergency flight home from Lithuania to Dallas when I was teaching in Lithuania. And again, this was for a medical emergency. I was not able to walk, so they picked me up from my gate. They walked me and my family to different terminals, made sure I was there on time. I also boarded first, and they helped me move from the wheelchair to a plain wheelchair and then into my final seat. They also had a special bus that I took that was just me. Because some airplanes, when you are getting off of the airplane or when you're entering the airplane, they have stairs to get into the airplane itself. And obviously, I can't take that. So they had a mini. Oh, hello. They had a mini. Hi, welcome back. They had a mini bus waiting there for me and a little lift so they could roll my chair and all of the other people with mobility issues onto it and then back to the gate. So this was really, really smooth, and I appreciate all of the workers, like even them transferring me from one wheelchair to another, one place to another. They were very gentle and were constantly checking in to make sure that I was safe, I was secure, and that I felt comfortable. So at the end of the day, that's what was most important, and I really needed it. So I said again, you will be the first to board and the first to board and usually the last to exit. And that is so that way no one bumps into you along the way. Before you get to the airport, weigh your bags, get an electronic scale, get an analog scale, whatever works for you, and do that at home so there's no surprises once you get to the airport. Another thing is to make sure to check your ID and that you have the necessary documents to not only leave your country, but also enter the new one. Many countries have a strict requirement for how long you can stay in their country, and many also require you to have a departure date. So ensure that you have those ready for check-in. Another thing I wish I knew is having a spare bit of change, some coins. They're usually your bigger coins, like 25 cents coins, because some of the trolleys in the airport for you to put your luggage in when you're either bringing it into check-in or when you're picking it up from the baggage claim will be in machines or attached to cords where you are not able to detach them without those coins. The next thing that I want to talk about is just having cash in general. So when you get to the airport, you can usually pay with a card for parking. That's something my family and I learned very quickly, was that even though they would like to drop me off at the airport, it does cost money to usually take the toll into the airport. Most airports also have some kind of like entrance machine where you have to scan your card or pay some cash to then enter to the drop-off area. And of course, if you are staying at the airport, even if it's for more than 5 minutes, you want to say bye at the drop-off and departure area, your family will have to pay for some time in the parking garage as well. Another thing I wrote about is baggage. If you decide to take extra baggage, that could be special baggage like instruments, a pet, science equipment, all of those things you'll be able to bring, but be mindful of an extra fee or an extra processing thing that you need to go through to ensure that they are well maintained and taken care of while you are in the plane. Every airline also has a different system and different fees for additional package. There are some airlines that allow you to have a check bag that's included in your ticket, but then any additional bag might be anywhere from $60 to $90. So if you're traveling with multiple luggages, like I have done when you are moving overseas, it's totally possible. Just be prepared to make sure that you have a variety of options with you during that time. Okay. If you have a pet, double check the pet areas of an airport. I didn't know this. I don't have a pet, but I bring that up because there are areas where your pet can run around, use the bathroom, get some water, just be off their leash. Of course, you have to be mindful of the people around you, but there usually are designated areas for that. Prayer rooms. If you are someone that needs an exclusive room to be able to pray, or you are just having a tough day and you want a place to meditate for silence, to just reflect with yourself. There are prayer rooms in every international airport that I've been to. In some domestic airports, especially in smaller cities, this is not as common, but it is helpful for my other religious friends out there. Okay. Last but not least is keep track of your flight status on your app. I recommend definitely downloading the app of the airline carrier that you take, because those bad boys change all of the time. It's better just have that ready and on hand. And if you are a frequent traveler like myself, you're going to use it again in the future. So it's just easy. They also recommend things to do, sometimes places to stay, transportation from the airport. So I think the information is also really helpful because it allows you to budget ahead of time. So I'm thinking that this will be a 7-part series. This was our first video, and the next video is going to be my friends that already have their ticket, they're about to leave, and they need to know everything about departure. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to Womanverse Travels. I figured I would take some time here to talk to you about... That's my scarf. This is my 27th continent. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this baby boy. Hi, honey. Hi. I have been to 27 countries. I have lived in Europe, in Asia, and now in South America. Oh, hello. Oh, hi. Oh, you precious little boy. Oh, I have no food, but you know what? Here we are, petting random dogs. Probably a tip that you should follow, but I just can't help myself. Oh. Is this my soulmate? Why did you choose me? Either way, I'm grateful. And I'm so happy. What's your name? Amor. What's your name, honey? What's your name? I've officially been chosen, so I can't move. I'm stuck, and this is my... Oh, I have not been chosen. I have been disregarded, just like that.